let's get into your book. Let's talk about it. Why evangelical theology needs the global church. I mean, the title kind of says it all, but why did you write this book?
Yeah. So the story goes like this. While I was finishing graduate school, I was doing my PhD at Wheaton. I started teaching undergrads toward the end of that time, kind of in a basic Christian thought class that gave some of us doctoral students the chance to do that. And as I was interacting with these enthusiastic young people, I was sharing with them about how the majority world church is really where the theological action is and where it's going to be
Mm.
for the next, 30, 40 years. And as enthusiastic young people do, they actually believe me. Uh, and, uh, and and so they would say, well, where, okay, like show me what to read. What do I do? And I actually realized there was relatively little. I mean, this was the early 2000s. There were articles here or there, especially in the area of theology, right? So not missiology, but actually like reflections on Christian doctrine and faith. Um, uh, Thinking about how majority world cultures inform that. Um, so I worked with Gene Green and KKO. We set up a collaboration to start putting out some books that actually would create the resources we were looking for in the classroom. So we helped create this series called the Majority World Theology series, and it was tons of fun. We put out a book a year for about 6 years, and then later that got wrapped up into one big volume called Majority World Theology. And it was really wonderful. I learned a ton through that. We had conferences and dialogues. I mean, just an incredible opportunity to kind of witness this theological dialogue, and a lot of it for the first time between these various places. But I found that a piece was missing. So as I was interacting with North American leaders, seminary teachers or pastors, or even lay people, as well as people in my own students here in Asia who are from all around Asia and are doing seminary training. Often I would give them those resources and they would say, well, why do I need this?
Mm.
What is important about this? And often, the thinking goes something like this, like theology is about God. God doesn't change. God isn't bound by culture.
Right.
The Bible is, our permanent source of authority. What we figured out 100 years ago, no matter what the composition of the church is, it should still apply. Sort of like science, right? Newton's law doesn't shift whether you're in Africa or Asia or Massachusetts. Doesn't matter. And so I realized, okay, I need to explain a little bit more about why this is helpful. And even why it's not scary, why it should not be threatening to us, which often it was perceived as a threat to kind of bring relativism or kind of a postmodernism into the church's theological library.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I felt very clearly that wasn't the case, that actually this is a deeply biblical, deeply Christian way to think about theology. But I needed to explain that. And so I wrote the book.